Hey everyone, it's Chris from Stamp Blessings, and I'm here today with a really kind of cool card that I'm excited to show you. So my friend Chuck came over this week and he brought over this card that he had made. He is always so generous with his samples, and to be honest, I had seen these online and you probably have too, but I was like, they're cool, but you know. And then I got my hands on one of them. So thank you, Chuck, for coming over and bringing this sample and including the directions. So, and here it is. I love it. So Chuck's is a standalone card where you can write the message on the back, and you can see that it will also stand perfectly. So I know when the first iterations were coming out, some of these cards, were flopping over. But what Chuck did is he added a little piece of support right here, and that made it even across the bottom, so you have it nice and stable. And I've already been having this displayed on my plant table, so it is beautiful, and I'm ready for Easter. Well, I had to make it my way. I did it my way. And so this is the card that I came up with. So I used Chuck's directions, but I modified it a little bit in that I don't know, I like cards where I can write a note, and this also will stand. So at the very end, you can decide whether you just want to mount it on a panel, or if you want to make, and then you have to add that little bit of support right there in the front, or if you want to make a top fold card. But I'm going to be showing you how to make this card now. Just a quick note that Chuck did use the Floral Delight paper from Stampin Up, and I saw that that is showing as low inventory. So this paper screams spring, and if you want it, go ahead and make sure you get it quickly. Well, for my card today, I used the Mixed Florals paper pack, and I've been really enjoying this. And this is a really pretty paper, so I had a hard time cutting into it, but I just love this combination here. And then I added some petal pink as my accent color. So these are the two papers that I used today from Stampin' Up. So to get started, we're going to start with our petal pink, the base portion. And I'll have to cut my cardstock to be 5 by 5 1/4. Yep. I meant to bring my notes over, and sure enough. So I'm going to just set those off to the side. I'll also include those details later. But I'm going to go ahead and quickly cut my cardstock for 5 by 5 1/4. And I want to see what that is. So that's 6 already. So let's go. We'll go like this, 5. And then 5 1/4. So I'm just going to line it up here and then go ahead and make a quick cut. What I like about this Stampin' Up paper cutter, I bought this while I was in Wisconsin when my dad was in hospice. It has a scoring blade, so for this card, I'm going to be using that. So on the short side, I want to go ahead and score my paper in 4 places. So let's see what the short side is. That is 5, and that's the short side then. So now I need to just make sure that I have my scoring blade engaged. So my first score, let me move that over again here, is at 1 inch. Then my next score is at 1 7/8 inch. So remember that those are right in between the 1/4 inch marks, but not the teeniest little line. Some people call those eyelashes. All right, and my next score will be at 3 1/8. So again, not the first, but the second little line. And then my last score is at 4 inches. And this score just worked beautifully. I just love it. I'm going to go ahead and do those scoring, you know, with a bone folder in a minute, but I still need to cut my little cross piece for the cross, and that piece is going to measure 3 inches. So let's see, 3 inches by 1 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the 1 1/4 width, get my scoring blade out of the way, and then come in at 3 inches. Now these measurements are important because you want this card to be able to fold up into an envelope. And I will show you at the end that yes, indeed it does. All right, we'll put this aside for just a second. And you know, I think I'm gonna leave this flat because when I get ready to attach my paper, it's gonna be a lot easier to attach those pieces while it's flat. So I'm gonna set that right here. And now I'm going to go ahead and get this first side strip, and I'll need 2 of those. And that is a little bit more narrow than that center one, so you will want to know that those paper strips are 7/8 of an inch by 5 1/8. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. So I said it was 7/8, so that's almost to the very end. 7/8 by 5 1/8, and I'll need 2 of those. But this paper goes a long way, so 5 1/8 again, that second line there. And another quick cut. This paper is so beautiful. I can't believe I'm cutting into it, but I am. I'm trying to be better about cutting my pretty papers. All right, let's set that aside. Those are the 2 panels, and then I need that center panel for the cross. And I'll need 2 pieces. So the first one measures 1 1/8 by 5 1/8. So let's go ahead and get that, 1 1/8. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut that whole strip. And then I said it was by 5 1/8. So you can see once you've got the measurements figured out, this is just rocking and rolling very quick. And then for my little cross piece, my cross bar, I need it to be 1 1/8 by 2 7/8. And I already have a short strip left over, so I'm going to use that one. And again, here we go. Perfect. So I just wanted to point out one thing about the difference of my card and Chuck's card again. Chuck actually went 2 layers. So where I go cardstock pattern paper, Chuck has cardstock pattern paper. So his is even 1 notch fancier than mine. You would just have to go back and adjust your cuttings, or I can share those dimensions from him as well. All right, so as I said, it's going to be easier to attach these pieces now that it's flat, and then we'll go ahead and score them. So I'll just do some quick gluing. I love this black paper too, but it just wasn't very Eastery. And now I can just go ahead and move that around with that wet glue until it looks like I'm centered on that panel. Perfect. On my card, I did not decorate these 2 side panels. Again, I'm showing you Chuck's version and mine. I kind of like the pop of the cardstock, and I did see some online examples that had it that way, and to me I really just liked how that made the cross pop a little bit more. Now I'm going to just put this middle piece in, and we'll finish that cross panel, and then we're going to go ahead and start scoring it to keep it solid. So this comes together so quickly. But it was helpful to have Chuck's directions for sure. So, and I hope that seeing this will help you as well. All right, so I have my bone folder here. And so we're gonna go first this way. And then we're gonna fold it backwards this way. So now we've made that first panel. Now I'm going to go ahead and score this one. And again, I want this to come in this way. And so now we have that nice base of the cross. And all I have to do is come in and put that panel on there. And you know, you'll want to have it centered, kind of eyeball it, and the cross will be a little bit more higher than center. So to finish off my card, I went ahead and die cut from Spotlight on Nature. I used the second largest die with this here. And I dug into my old Stampin' Up stamps. This one I had unmounted years ago. This is so old. Let's see if it tells us what's from 2007. But that just shows you when I really like a stamp, I just don't get rid of it. So I'm going to go ahead and ink that up, and I'm going to use some Old Olive. If I can, I just got some new ink pads. I want to shout out to my friend Kim. This week has been a week of blessings. First Chuck with this card, and then Kim gifted me some ink pads, and I am just ecstatic. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment. Well, I've been prattling away again without even stopping to say, let me know where you're watching from, or leave me a comment if you are a fun fold card fanatic. I don't do them too often, but every once in a while there's one that really catches my eye, and this one did. So the next thing I did is I die cut from the Country Flowers bundle. It's the stamp and die. I went ahead and I die cut some leaves, and I did that off screen already. And from the mixed florals, I went ahead and I die cut this little ladybug right here. It is adorable, and I just thought that that would be pretty. I also thought about maybe using one of the butterflies, but to tell you the truth, I've been using those butterflies a lot, and I didn't want you guys to get tired of them. So let's go ahead and ink up this butterfly. And I have some memento. And I just love these little spread wings on this guy getting ready to take off. It's just so pretty. Quick and easy. And then we'll just add a little color. It does not take a lot at all to add color to this. I just kind of dotted on a little red. Actually, this is the light cherry cobbler, and it just matches that pink in this paper perfectly. So there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and build up this little portion, and then we're going to go ahead and assemble it all together onto the base. And I want to show you it because I actually did struggle with this one. I glued it down and I didn't make sure that it would lay down, so sure enough, where I had laid it first, it didn't work, so I had to kind of really, so thankfully I didn't do that, online, but you know me, I do it often. So I'm just going to build up quickly, and this time I'm going to make the leaves go in a different direction and see how that looks. And it has some tweezers here, which will make this gluing a lot easier. There we go. And hold that down for just a second. And now I want to add my little butterfly. And we are almost done making this beautiful cross fold card that anybody who receives it is just going to go ahead. They're going to keep that up for a long, long time. I know sometimes people say, oh, so-and-so, you know, loves my cards, but other people just kind of look at them and then throw them away. But this is a keeper. So my card base is actually 3.5 inches by 11, and I'm going to go ahead and score it. And that's because I wanted to make my card a top fold. However, you could just cut a piece of cardstock that is 3.5 by 5.5, and then add that little support base. So let's go ahead and just dry piece this on. I'm going to hold it in place, and I'm going to make sure that it's going to fold where I want it to. So I think I'm going to go ahead and fold it and have it folded while I glue it in place. That's going to help me a lot. So watch this where I glue on just 2 panels. I'm going to just put it here. So here in Virginia, spring is definitely in the air, but I know in Wisconsin, where my mom and my dad used to live, they just had snow again. So I don't know, what's it looking like in your neighborhood? I know there's a lot of hail going on too in some places. All right, make sure that your fold is at the top. I have it still kind of put together so that I can make sure that my borders are all about right. And now I'm just going to hold that in place and let it dry. And let's go ahead and set that aside for a minute. I'll put some weight on it, and then I'm going to show you how this card actually will fit in a normal A2 envelope. So again, you can just fold it down and then go ahead and tuck it in. And that is how nicely, and there's not a lot of bulk, so I think this will be machinable without any problem. Well, tell me what you think. Is this a fun fold card that you would try? Remember that there's actually 2 ways to do it. You can do it with like an easel card, like mine, or you can do this great version like Chuck's that is just you write your message on the back, and they both stand equally well, and they both are beautiful. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to like or subscribe. Leave me a comment. I'll get back with you. And coming up during April and May, I'll be going live just twice a month, but I hope to continue to show you some fun projects. Well, thanks again for tuning in, and have a blessed day.